Now a lot of you may recognise this very famous Jaguar XK8, very purposeful sounding Corvette Z06.
The old boys used to do that. That's stunning.
Green just looks so good on early Porsche 911s, doesn't it? So there we are in the old pickup with the CWS Federation. Today on Car Traction, you join us once again at the Old Piggery Cafe for the Combermere Cars and Caffeine. We're in the pickup, that doesn't really matter. What matters is we have got the 1952 CWS Federation here, the very first show. Do you think it needs an information sheet? I think it might need one, but yeah. We've got it all pimped out, badminton racket, very nice badge, bell, what else is there? Got the dyno lamp, which I think made a faint glow when I took it for a little lap of the car park. It's still very, very early, and of course we've got this little lunchbox here, so hopefully that'll be quite an interesting thing, maybe a bit of a relatable item. But apart from that, just a usual Combermere meeting. Now we're back to everything. We've had the pre-90 and the post-90 meet, and the organisers decided it's just going to be everything with a cap of 150 cars, classic cars, sports cars, supercars, literally one of everything turns up here. So let's see what turns up at today's breakfast car meet.
The old boys used to do that.
That's done in, it's two-tap, but it's single stage.
Yes, they do float away.
Well, this is an absolutely divine little Lancia Fulvia. Saw this recently at the Sweat and Arms evening meet, and it has featured a dedicated feature on the Car Traction Instagram page at cartraction_vids, so make sure to follow that. But just behind is another Lancia Fulvia. That is a UK market one, I think, with those headlamps. The little blue one is an original Italian car. Great variety of enthusiast cars arriving now. Now a lot of you may recognise this very famous Jaguar XK8. This is of course the Austin Powers car. We'll have a little look around while there's a brief lull in arrivals. Yeah, very, very interesting car. I've been told by Dad to say yeah baby, although I've never watched it unfortunately. There's an MGB Roadster, rolls in now. Nice to see an MGB. Grandad would usually be in his MGB GT, which is in a very similar colour to this Alfa Romeo 105 Series 2000, but here's at an MG do at Woodford, which is where he works for the Afro Heritage Centre. So we are flying solo today. I say that, we are in three things: the pickup, the MX5, piloted by Mrs. OCC, aka my mum, and of course I'm on the 1952 CWS, but that is one very, very smart classic Alfa Romeo there, in a very similar shade to this MGB that has just rolled in. And here is a Rolls-Royce Corniche 2-door convertible. This is a very interesting car, this Series 1 E-Type Had a chat to the owner of this a couple of meets ago. It's a Series 1 E-Type that was modified by a French owner at some point in the 1960s or 70s. Used to drive to his yacht and back to his home again, and that was pretty much the end of its use. And it's made to a sort of semi-lightweight spec. It is one absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous car. The owner also has a Series 3 E-Type V12. Yeah, that is one very, very smart looking car. There's a BMW M2 rolling in now. A more modern take on the traditional classic sports car. As is the BMW Z4. Got the Lotus Exige 260 Cup. I think this one is not too good in these models. There's so many variants of these Lotuses. Got the Alpine A110. That looks very good. Modern take on the classic Alpine race car. Got the MGB Roadster here, and a lovely Riley special pre-selector box in this one. The owner of these cars also has a Jensen CV8. And it's great to see that one out again. Lovely wide wheels, of course. Great to see some pre-war stuff this morning. Have a little wander around this row now. Got the Honda NSX on the end, and these two are always a pair seen together. The Jensen Interceptor, the 6-pack 6-barrel carburettor on that one, and the MGB GT, both on a K-Reg, which is like 71 or somewhere around that. Both different takes on the traditional GT, smaller and British and big and American, with I think the Chrysler V8 in that Jensen Interceptor SP, the 6-pack carburettor. Plenty TVRs, TVR Tamora, a TVR Wedge and a Tuscan and another Tamora. So there we are in the old pickup with the CWS Federation, looking very, very nice and oily, suitably oily when compared to the 47 half-ton pickup. There is a Porsche 356 convertible rolling in now. I'm sure that'll be quite popular with Mum, that one. She does very, very much like a Porsche 356. It's got the Mark 1 Lotus Cortina here. We were recently at the Alton Park Gold Cup. This one entered the Concours d'Esprit at the Alton Park Gold Cup, and it has won in the past. I'm not sure when it was, the 63 Lotus Cortina, but this year the winner was a Bentley Mark 5 Corniche. Now that is a fascinating car that appears in my behind the scenes video at Bentley, where I was very kindly offered a tour of the Bentley historic collection, including their 1938 or 39 Bentley Mark 5 Corniche. What's a little mini here, 1275 cc A series lump in that one. Here's the half-ton pickup, as I've said, with a little CWS on front. Mum, of course, is in the Mark 1 MX5 California. Got the Lotus Elise, bit of JDM now. This is a R34 generation of the Nissan GTR, allegedly a Series 2. It has a inline 6-cylinder engine that makes 707 brake horsepower in this one, which is probably quite an entertaining drive. I think being a GTR, it is all-wheel drive, so that'll make it maybe a little bit more manageable, but still proper animal, that car. And this is a couple of years older. This is the R32 generation of the Nissan GTR Shape. Another inline 6-cylinder engine, probably not quite as insanely tuned, but it does look quite good. Proper sleeper, these. Also all-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive now. Traditional British sports car. Big V8 up front. Sat over the rear wheels. Yeah. TVR Chimera here. Evolution of the Rover 3.5 litre lump, probably more like 3.9 litres, somewhere like that, in this lovely blue TVR Chimera. And another fantastic blue. This is the Z3M Coupe. The Z3M having the E36 M3, I think, straight 6 engine, 3.2 litres, 321 brake horsepower, I think. Once again, sat right over the rear wheels. These do chew up, I think, like the diffs in the back, because of just the power of these is absolutely crazy. Got huge wide wheels on this one. That is a very, very cool and desirable car. Got the Lotus Exige S. There's the Lotus lump in the back. This is that fantastic Lancia Fulvia, as I said. I've seen it once before, but it's just so rare to see such an original Lancia Fulvia. This wasn't originally an Italian car. It's been imported at some point in its life. It's just so nice. It's the foreign market style of lamps, as opposed to the other Fulvia just behind me, which we will look at very soon. But it's just such a beautifully original little car. A lot of the original Lancia Fulvias you see are like the 1300Ss, the sort of big stripes down the bonnet, big wide wheels, and they do look fantastic. But it's just quite unique to see a completely unmolested and original looking one, especially in the turquoise. It just pops, doesn't it? And that gorgeous Lancia interior. There's a Ford Sierra RS Cosworth here. Quite a few fast Fords here today. A Bentley Continental GT, I think that's the Mark II. Thankfully I've gained a little bit of knowledge from a wonderful Bentley tour, which hopefully, if you guys have seen that, you did like it. Beyond the set, here's this. Now this is a curious creation. This appears to be a Wolseley Hornet van, but there never was a Wolseley Hornet van, so this is a minivan, or a mini estate, that's had blanking plates put inside instead of the windows, that has had a Wolseley Hornet front grafted onto the front of it, for want of a better word. So this has actually had an incredible modification, because it looks so genuine, but that doesn't exist. That's meant to be a mini, but somehow it's had the Wolseley Hornet front on it, which I've got to say, it really does look really handsome. And here's the other Lancia Fulvia. As you can see, the headlamps on this one, they sort of flick up towards the end of the front arches. That is different to the turquoise example we just looked at. Both of these cars having the same engine, the Lancia 1.3 litre V4 unit. And the very yellow cam cover on that one. Right hand drive, so probably a UK or South African spec car. And that's on the lovely Lancia alloy wheel. Oh, 1600, there you go, 1600 V4 engine, so slightly bigger. TVR Tuscan, that one has a very open exhaust. BMW E30 Cabriolet, pairing of F-Types. This is the facelift front to the F-Type, and this is the slightly older front. This is an SVR, so a V8 engine, possibly supercharged, I think, in this Jaguar F-Type. Little Alpha 4C, that's quite a good looking little car now. I think it's an 1800 turbocharged engine there, of course mid-mounted. Here's this fantastic little racing Mini. The owner of this car actually gets out quite a lot. This is another one that's featured detailed photos and history on the Car Traction Instagram page. I've seen it once before at a very rainy breakfast car meet, similar to this one today. That's the Three Greyhounds pub, but today hopefully it'll be staying a little bit drier, as will this fantastically prepared little Mini. The owner has painted this car in his garage, and it's all stripped out in the interior. It's all painted absolutely immaculately on the interior as it is on the outside. Morris Cooper S Mark 1. It's a fantastic looking little car with plenty of period stickers. Here we are at the back now of this. This is a Ferrari 348 TB. That sounded very nice on the way, and just under there is a mid-mounted Ferrari naturally aspirated V8 engine, gated manual gearbox in this, which I'm sure offers a absolutely sublime driving experience. These do sound fantastic when they have a very vocal exhaust system. I've got to say, it looks really sleek and blue. That got the Alpine, that's another one of the more recent shape of Alpines, a Mark II Escort RS 2000 there. Seen that car quite a few times before. Various meets, such as the Anything Goes meet. I think this is actually the thumbnail car of that meet, as is this very handsome Mark I Ford Capri GT. It's got the 3 litre V6 Ford Essex engine in it and a fantastic ducktail spoiler. Looking at it now, the styling is not dissimilar to the likes of the Datsun 240Z. It's a fantastic looking car. I really do like the look of these very first Mark I Capris, and this one of course has the big V6 engine in it. It's one very handsome looking car, and another Ford Sierra Cosworth. Nice and cosy in the back of the TVR Tamora. I'll have a little look down here now. We've got the Lotus Europa S. You cannot mistake this for the likes of a Lotus Elise. No, this is a much rarer prospect. There are very few of these cars. The owner of this car also has a purple MGB GT with the V8 engine. So that is one very sharp little car, 2-car garage. Not sure whether he has more cars actually. That is a very nice 2-car garage, modern and a little bit older in the form of the MG. Almost identical F-Type SVR here to the one we saw earlier. Here's the BMW Z4, that is a 2.5 litre straight 6 engine. I do quite like the look of these fairly early BMW Z4s. I think those are definitely got to be a future classic, a BMW M2 Coupe. Little aerial here, I think it's probably an aerial Atom, something like that. I'm sure that handles absolutely brutally. I'm not exactly sure what engine they're in these. It's a 4-cylinder of some description, but turbocharged. I think it's probably turbocharged. You can see the fully adjustable suspension. I'm sure everything on this car is adjustable, whether you want it on the track, getting the fastest lap time, or rattling your teeth out on the terrible roads that are in Cheshire and Shropshire, or pretty much anywhere in the UK. Another TVR tomorrow. That's a very sleek one in black. Actually, I haven't seen one in that colour before. Once again, sitting right over the rear wheels, real traditional British sports car styling. The TVR Speed 6 engine up front. Toyota Supra on the end here. This is quite a rare Mark III. When you say Toyota Supra, everyone thinks of the Mark IV or the new Mark V, which has a fair bit of BMW Z4 DNA, but that's actually the one that came before all of them, the Mark III. Volkswagen GTI, very cool E39 BMW here. This is a M5 in just the best blue for these, isn't it? I think it's roughly a 4-litre V8 engine up front in these, 6-speed manual. It's a fantastic looking and sounding car. One of the last really good looking BMWs, I think. This is a Nissan Skyline, but not a GTR. This is an R32 shape, so just like the R32 we saw earlier next to the white R34, which was the 700 brake horsepower car. But this is not a GTR, this is the GTST, which I think is the rear-wheel drive version of the GTR, of course, being all-wheel drive. So this has basically got the same extremely tunable engine as in the R32 GTR, but it's in the GTST form, which is probably a bit more desirable for sort of people in the drifting world, as they like rear-wheel drive, and JDM and drifting seem to go hand in hand very, very often. And also right next to that is this Porsche GT3, 3.8 litre flat 6 in this one. Side pipes on the Volvo. Well, that's a really, really rare classic British sports car turning up now. That is a much rarer affair than the usual 4-cylinder found in that familiar shape of car, and of course with pop-up headlights. Got the Volvo saloon here, diesel with side pipes, little Vauxhall Corsa. It's a Range Rover Classic that is absolutely immaculate, and a Dodge Challenger that you wouldn't miss in the car park. Green just looks so good on early Porsche 911s, doesn't it? Very smart little MGTC. Very purposeful sounding Corvette Z06 rolling in now. That of course has the LS V8 engine in it, and in the best colour.
Second gear. A big sound of it. That loose thing there would start it.
The very clean Series 1 Land Rover's off now. There's a Nissan Silvia rolling in. Plenty of JDM at today's show. That sounds a bit decidedly straight pipe. There's the F-Type, and there's the wonderful short wheelbase Series 1 Land Rover.
Lime green.
Some fairly chunky motorcycles over here. Got to the Ducati and the Triumph Bonneville and an 850cc Norton Commando. I know very, very little about bikes, but this has got a very impressive disc brake setup on the back. That's a really big sort of dish on that one, and on the front as well. I suppose it must be quite heavy, this bike. That is a very decorated brake caliper.
Just take it round.